All right. I am going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. Share screen. We are doing the next section, 1.8. Where is it at? 1.8, ladies and gentlemen. Now, real quick, guys, actually, before we jump into notes, I do want to go to co- uh canvas. I can't even talk today. Canvas. What am I, British? Okay. Canvas. Can everyone go to their canvas on their device? Now, class, if I have any students that is using their cell phone or a tablet for class because you do not have a computer, I want you to know Palo Alto checks out laptops. I got a work laptop and they have laptops for students and they have hotspots. So if you think you're one of those, shoot me an email and I'll send you information of the email that I got. Or if I can find the email, I'll forward it to everyone. But yeah, if you want to borrow a computer, now I'm not too sure how the schematics work, if you have to, how it works, but I know you can borrow one. So if you don't have a computer, last semester I had a student who gave her personal computer, little sister, to take to school, and she never had a computer to work on things. And she never went to check one out when I told her. So please utilize this. If you need a device, like a computer or something to try out, do it. Take advantage of it because Alamo College is about your success. All right. All right. So now if you go to Canvas, guys, you all see my Canvas page online? It's gonna, so to get access to the homework, it's gonna be on Alamo books and digital course materials. Is anyone on their computer on Canvas and see this part here? Are y'all able to launch courseware for my lab? Does it say this for you guys? Now, James, is this your first semester tutoring? Do you also get access to my math lab to see the problems the students are working on? Do you get access to this? Okay, all right, so Adelaide, is it Adelaide, right?
Yes.
So are you able to launch courseware for this part of your Canvas? If y'all click on it, what does it do? Because I want to make sure, I want to know if I set it up right so y'all can just start seeing the homeworks and stuff. Do y'all get to this page, guys?
Yeah, it appears the same as on your screen.
Okay. And when y'all click on this yellow button, what does it do? Does it do what I'm doing right now? Oh.
It just tells me to register.
And are you able to register with the information or is it asking you for a code? Could you try to register? Yeah, Chelsea got online. Cool, cool, cool. Is the registration hard? So James, it works for you. Did you have to, was it easy to register, James? Like, do you mind?
Yeah, you click there and it gives you an I agree statement. Say, here's our rules. You say, I agree. It goes right into the registration process. And all I had to do is hit register and go to courses.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, James, for the heads up.
I'm
So,
in.
all right, class, I am gonna extend the due dates for the first probably of the first 6 assignments. I'll probably give you until mid-February to get the first few assignments done. Just because of starting late, being remote, not being able to help you in class and see what you're going through and what you need help with. So I will be giving an extension on the first handful of assignments. Good job, Chelsea, for getting 100 on the first two assignments. Is Chelsea here? Yep, here you are, Chelsea. So thank you for taking care of the assignments, Chelsea. Do you want to share with the class how the assignments were, and any feedback on your class for your classmates for them to be able to get 100 like you did? You can type it in the chat or unmute yourself. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. All right. Let me see. Chelsea said it was easy and she used her notes. Excellent, excellent, Chelsea. Now, the biggest thing about math that I've known to Concord is now it all depends, right, on your professor, right? Is your professor teaching you the things you need to be successful in the assignments, quizzes, and homeworks? Now, if you're able to, now I'm gonna be honest, my notes are mainly constructed. And yes, they have a lot of math concepts, but they're also meant to, when you practice it on the assignments, they're in my notes, what I want you to practice on. So do the notes, come to class, ask questions, and I promise you, you will be successful. All right, let's get started, guys, because we are behind since I didn't have you for class last Monday. Not that I'm hating on a free holiday. I just like to have my classes on top of things. So let's get into 1.8 class. So 1.8 is intro to variables, algebraic expressions, and equations. So if you notice, we have a couple definitions to start with, and then we have a note. Yes, Adelaide, we'll talk about your online account after class, okay? So don't worry about that. I got you. And anyone else who has any questions about their online account, just ask me after class. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys about 2 minutes to set this slide up into your notebook. Now, I don't mean to call anyone out, but do not skip anything that's on the slide. If I typed it or wrote it, it is for good measure. So please, please do not be lazy and skip things. Oh, I know that. Oh, I know that. Because there may be a question on the homework that says define variable, and it's a pull down menu. And if you don't remember the definition I gave you, then you'll get it wrong. So like I said, write everything that's on my slides. Go ahead and give that 2 minutes. And then we'll move on.
Next week we have class in person, or is it still on Zoom?
So next class, it should be in person. That is correct, Gabby. Now,
Okay.
now I'm waiting to hear from the president of animal colleges for them to give like, hey, we're going back on campus. They said to wait for that email. So, but they'll let us know whether they're gonna push it back or say let's go back on campus kind of thing, you know?
Oh, okay.
I can't wait to be on campus. I was remote last semester, so I just want to be unpacked, honestly. But we'll see. Well, we'll see. Keep our fingers crossed, Gabby.
Okay.
All right, let's go, guys. So 1.8, intro to variables. So the first definition is a variable. A variable is pretty much an unknown value that we represent by letters. Unknown value is a number unknown. We don't know what it is at first. And then the next thing is we have is algebraic expression, which is a combination of operations with letters and variables and numbers. So no, if a number and letter or two letters are next to each other, we can assume they're being multiplied. Like for example, 4x is the same thing as 4 times x, or is the same thing as 4 parentheses x. I want you to understand these are the different types of multiplications or ways I want you to understand multiplication is the dot and parentheses. Remember the times from elementary, like 2 times 3. We're not going to use this x anymore because this symbol looks like the letter X, and we're going to start having variables. So no more old school multiplication. Is that understood, class? Is everyone good with the first slide now? You can type in the chat, good to go, or you can say need more time, or unmute yourself, we need more time. All right, let's go. So let's move on. Example 1. I'm gonna go ahead and give you about 1 minute to set up example 1, which is this top part right here. I'm gonna draw a line where it separates. Do the top part of the blue line. All right, and it's really short. It's just example 1. Evaluate x plus 6 if x is 8. So evaluate x plus 6. We have to evaluate this if x is 8. Can someone tell me what it well, evaluate, what's an example? So I'll explain it. I'm gonna wait for my timer to run out before I jump into it. So x plus 6 is an algebraic expression, class. It's an algebraic expression because it has a variable and operations. But now they want us to evaluate it if x is 8. So they're giving us a scenario saying, hey, what does x plus 6 equal to, or not equal to, what number does it become when x is 8? So we're going to replace the x value with 8 and just add it with 6. 8 plus 6, use your calculator on your phone, or the one that you're supposed to have for this class, or mental math. 8 plus 6 is actually 14. And we are done. Notice how I'll box my final answer. What questions do we have on example 1? It's key to understand what evaluate means and to see your expression and to know what they want you to plug in. This is the basic expression. It's going to get a little more complex as we move on. Are there any questions before I move on? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys 2 minutes to write practice 1 and to do your first practice problem for today and complete the note problem. Good luck. Now, James, what I do in this class is kind of structured where I teach the class an example and I actually have a interactive practice work problem where they do it at home. Now in class, I'm going to be able to walk around and see their answers. Here, they're going to share with us how they did, if they know what they did, what to do. And yeah, it's pretty much practicing the examples, what I'm teaching them to see if they can grasp the concepts in class. So you can see the note that I wrote underneath. No, x is 5 can also be written as x equals 5. So this note is going to help us out a lot in this class. pretty much highlighting that math can be words as well. Because X is 5 is a sentence or a statement, and it can be written as X equals 5 as well. Do I have any volunteers to explain one answer they got for practice 1 and how they did it for the class to hear?
I did 7 minus 2 and I got 5.
Excellent. Does anyone agree or disagree? You can unmute or type agree or disagree if you agree with Gabby's
Agree.
excellent, excellent. Agree. Good. Not bad, not bad. I also agree, Gabby. Good job, ma'am. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. Does anyone need more time on this practice problem or to write the note down? Anyone need more time? All right, let's move on. Thank you, Jacob, for letting me know. All right, let's move on to example 2. Ooh, the plot thickens, class. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to write example 2 into your notebook. Notice how the expression got a little more complex now. There's parentheses, there's now 2 variables instead of 1, and so on. So go ahead. If you want to write the example down and the timer still hasn't went off and you're like, let me get started on it, feel free to get started. Now, if you're using pin, be careful. You may have to scratch it out if you're not 100% confident on what to do. All right, that was my timer, guys. Let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to evaluate this expression, right? 2x minus y. We have x equals 6 and y is 3. So I like to do x equals 6. That's going to be x. And then if you have multiple color highlighters, I recommend saving some for this class and using them. So we're going to go ahead and plug in the values that we've known they're equal to. So 6x is 6 and y is 3. Notice how I kept the operations there. I kept the parentheses. And sometimes we're going to have to put parentheses around the numbers, like to when we plug it in, but we don't have to do it for this case because there's nothing around the x or the y. Like if it was 2x, we would have to put parentheses around the 6, but it says x. So 6 minus 3 is just 3. 2, remember parentheses is another way to what? Multiply. 2 times 3 is 6, and we are done, class. Excellent. What questions do we have on example 2? If any. All right, knowing that what just offer example 2, do y'all need 1 or 2 minutes to do this practice problem? This practice 2 problem. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. All right, I'm gonna give you 2 minutes starting now to do your practice problem. Good luck, class. Now, if you finish the practice problem early and you have a solution to share with the class, you can type in the chat, hey, I got this for practice problem 2 or practice 2. Does anyone agree or disagree? And then people can say, I agree with you, sir, or I agree with you, Jacob, I agree with you, Gabby, whatever, or disagree, right? Someone may get a different answer. And when we get different answers, that's when we start a discussion to see, all right, what did I do differently than the other person? What can I do? So Jacob already have his solution out there. So if anyone wants to share with that, see if you want to agree or disagree with Jacob's answer.
I got 20.
Excellent, Gabby. Gabby got 20. That's two different people who got 20. Adelaide agrees with the 20. Good, good, good. So far, so good. Nice. All right, my timer's about to go off. The answer, if you got it, now people already said what they got 20. The answer is 20, guys. Does anyone need me to work out practice 2 problem to see how to do it? Would anyone like to see me work out practice 2 problem? I did do example 2, but would anyone else? You can type in yes or no in the chat. Everyone feel okay with practice 2 problem, guys? So Damien, that's a yes. You want me to work it out? Yeah, want me to work it out? Okay. All right, let's go ahead and give me a second to work it out. All right. So look at the practice problem. Evaluate this expression for x equals 8. That's x. And it's saying y equals 4, which is right here. So we can write the expression again first, right? So we have the expression here. We know y becomes 4, parentheses is still there. We know x is 8, bring down the -3 parentheses. Now we simplify using algebra. 8 minus 3 is 5. Put that in parentheses, bring down the 4. What is 4 parentheses 5? Remember, that's multiplication, which is 20. And we are done. So it's kind of making us work back in the old days, adding, subtracting, simple things like this. But as a warm up, we had to warm up our brains before we get into more complicated topics. All right. Does anyone need more time to copy this down? All right, let's move on. Here is example 3. Ooh, the plot thickens, class. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a minute and 30 seconds to write this problem down. Evaluate x minus 5y over y for x equals 35 and y equals 5. Give you a second to write that down. All right, guys. So let's take a look at this example. Ah, Nicholas already got it done. Let's see how we do, Nick. Let's see if we get if we match up with you. So we know x equals 35, right? And we're starting to understand that y is 5. But notice how we have more than one y. So we're gonna have to see two fives when we substitute these values. So x is 35, right? Minus 5. But when we have a letter and a number, they're being multiplied. So I'm gonna do parentheses now. But instead of the letter y, I'm gonna write the value 5 because that's what we're saying y is. And now we're gonna use this using PEMDAS. Whenever we're evaluating an algebraic expression and it's multiple things, we have to use PEMDAS to simplify. So remember, PEMDAS is PEMDAS. So there's no parentheses to simplify. There's no exponents, but there is multiplication right here, 5 times 5. So then we get 35 minus 25 over 5. And then we add and subtract the top. 35 minus 25 is 10. And then we have 10 over 5, which is just what? 2. So good job, Nicholas. No, you're good. Hey, Jacob, no need to apologize, sir. As long as you're able to correct yourself on your own or through the steps that you see me or other students say, that's all that matters, sir. Okay. So my thing is, if you don't see that it's 2, you just let me know or let the class know. Hey, guys, how did we get 2 again? Anyone explain it? And either me or a student will do it. And I had a question sent to me saying if we can make up the past due assignments. Yes, I said earlier in class, and I'll repeat it again for the ones that logged on late. I will be extending all the assignments for January to be due in mid-February. So that should be enough time for you to get these homeworks done, but do not let them pile up, class. Do not. This extension is just so you can work comfortably and not rushfully, not rushing things. Is that understood? Okay. Y'all ready for practice 3, guys? Y'all ready to do it on your own? All right, I'm gonna give you a minute and 30 seconds, guys. I know it's shorter than before, but do not freak out. I'll give more time if you need it. Starting now. Good luck on practice 3, guys. And if anyone wants to share what they got for practice 3 in the chat and see if people agree or disagree, go for it. Remember, teamwork makes the dream work.
I got 4, but I don't know if I did something wrong.
Gabby, so let's see if your classmates agree or disagree with your 4. So I'll put a question mark with a box. This is what Gabby got, guys. So if y'all want to agree or disagree to see if Gabby should relook at her work. Jacob got 4 too, Gabby. Good job.
Okay.
Good. Nicholas got 4. Pedro's getting 4. Good, good. That's what's up. That's what's up. Noel's agreeing with it. Good, good, good. My timer has 20 seconds left, so I'm gonna let you guys work on that. I'm not gonna ask anything yet. All right, guys. Would any student like me to work out practice 3? Would any student? You can type in yes in the chat if you'd like me to work out this problem. Or no, thank you, if you're good. All I need is one student to say yes and I'll do it, All right, thank you, thank you. I have 1 yes, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. So we have this fraction problem, right? So let's see, how do we set it up, right? Let me switch my color up. Let me give a marker. I'm gonna do red. So remember that we have y here and we're saying y is 18. We have x down here where x is 6. Let's go ahead and plug that in. So we're gonna get y plus 6, but instead of y, it's gonna be 18 plus 6 over x, and x is 6. We got to use PEMDAS to simplify this fraction, right? We do the top by itself, then we do the bottom. The top is 18 plus 6, which is just 24. And then we do 24 divided by 6. And what do we get? We get 4. And that's it. All right. Let's go ahead and move on, guys. Okay, good. As long as you figured it out, Adela. If you have any questions, you feel free to let me know. All right. Example 4. Now it's getting a little more. You see, notice how every example gets a little more trickier. More trickier. That's why I teach math, not English. All right, I'm gonna give you a minute and 30 seconds to copy this example down before I start working it out.
Okay, I can't see good. I don't really have my glasses, but is that a Z or a
Ah,
2?
it is a Z. Thank you for asking, Abby. So it's x squared plus z minus 3.
Okay.
That's the expression. And can you see the other part? X equals 5 and z equals 4.
Okay.
What I'll start
Sorry.
doing, Abby, for next lecture, I'm gonna email you my blank lecture slides so you can like download them and just zoom in for your purposes, you know?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Just be on the lookout for that email either tomorrow or Wednesday morning. But I'll probably do it tomorrow or today, honestly.
Okay. Shoot.
Oh, Nicholas already worked out. Nice. My timer hasn't even gone off. It's about to. All right. Evaluate x squared plus z minus 3. So let's take a look at it. So we know x is going to be 5, right? And it's going to go there with the x value. And we know z is 4. So remember, now that we have different things, now I'm going to start using parentheses around the x value. 5 squared. And then plus z is 4. Since there's nothing next to the z, like it's not 3z, it's not z squared, it's nothing. Just z, I'm just gonna write 4 by itself. But if it was a number there, I would have to put parentheses around the 4. And then minus 3. Now, following PEMDAS class, what will we do first? Am I gonna add the subtract 4 and 3, or am I gonna do 5 squared first?
The 5 squared?
Excellent, which is 25, right? Bring down everything else. And now there's no multiply and divide. So I'm gonna add and subtract from which way to which way?
Left to right?
Good. So 25 plus 4 is 29. Bring down the minus 3. Was 29 take away 3?
26.
26. And we are done. What did you get? You got 26, Nick? Good job, sir. Excellent. All right. I'm going to give y'all a minute and a half for practice 4. Good luck. If you have any questions on this example, please let me know. If not, good luck on practice 4. We do have a student that put their answer on the chat. If anyone wants to agree or disagree, Jacob. All right, all right. Does anyone need more time to work on practice 4 problem, guys? Anyone need more time? Like an extra minute or 2 or 30 seconds? Anyone? Pedro got 18 too. Looking good, guys. Looking good. Any questions so far on what we've done in class? All right. Would anyone need me to work out this practice 4 problem, guys? Any students want? So if you got 18, it is correct, guys. But if anyone needs me to work it out, just type in yes in the chat.
Can you work it out? Because I got a little bit confused on the 2 to the third power.
I got you. So we're gonna go ahead and let me highlight real quick. So we know Z is gonna be 2, right? Dos. And then we're gonna go ahead and X is 1, right? So we have the expression. You always want the first line of your work problem to be the expression without you plugging it in. And then once you have this problem, we're gonna go ahead and substitute. So it'll be 25 minus parentheses 2 cubed plus 1. Well, 2 cubed. Well, last class we learned about exponents, right? We learned about repeated multiplication. So, and we have to simplify this expression using order of operation, PEMDAS, right? So there's no parentheses for us to simplify. So next is we have is exponents. 2 to the third. Remember that 2 to the third is just what repeated multiple times. What number? Can someone tell me what 2 to the third is? Go ahead, Gabby.
Is it 2? Right?
2,
Just like
yeah, 2
three.
times how many times?
3.
There you go. So now we multiply these. 2 times 2 is just 4, but we have another 2 to multiply. What's 4 times 2?
8.
8, yeah. So 2 to the third power is the same thing as 8. Everyone with me? So now I'm gonna replace this 2 cubed with 8. So now I'm gonna get 25 minus 8 plus 1. There's no more multiplication and division, but I'm gonna add and subtract from left to right. So 25 minus 8 is 17. Bring down the plus 1. 17 plus 1 is 18. And we're done. Did those steps make sense, Gabby?
Yes, it's because I don't know why I had gotten 6 because I was multiplying like 2 times 2.
Ah, yeah, but you probably accidentally did 2 times 3, Gabby. That's what got you the 6 probably.
Yeah, my bad. That's what I was doing. That's why I was like, what am I doing wrong?
No, you're good, dude. Exponents are tricky at first, but once you get used to them, they'll be a piece of cake, okay?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on, guys. Example 5. This is a word problem just because I want you to see how math can be incorporated with words. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you about 2 minutes to do this one, to copy this one. 2 minutes, or yeah, I'll do 2.5 minutes, just because it's a word problem. So while you guys are writing, I'm gonna read it. The expression 5 times f minus 32 over 9 can be used to write degrees Fahrenheit F as degrees Celsius C. Find the value of this expression for F equals 86. Okay. Let me go ahead and get started, guys. So now pretty much, math problems, the reason why I put this word problem is to show you that math is going to have words. It's going to have English. It's going to have reading comprehension. Can you read the problem and understand what it's asking? That is another battle in math, right? Because math is such a intense subject because not only do you have to know how to think about math, like 2 plus 5, 3 times 6, 2 to the third power. There's so much different operations you have to do in your head that reading problems now is like, what? Why are you doing this to me? Why? But it's because that's what's beautiful about math is that it kind of pushes your boundaries with a lot of things, right? Things that we're not really comfortable with. I don't like to really read personally, but I just did right now this word problem. So they want us to find the value of this expression for f equals 86. So we're going to have the expression there, right? The expression written again, 5f minus 32 over 9. And they give us that f equals 86. So based off of what we're doing, we're just going to plug this f wherever this f is here. So then it'll be 5 parentheses 86 minus 32 over 9. So we're doing PEMDAS. So we have to do the top and then the bottom. The top, we have parentheses first. So 86 minus 32 is 54. So then we get 5 parentheses 54 over 9. Then we're going to do 5 times 54, which we don't have to do in our head. We can use a calculator. It's going to be 270 over 9, which then reduces. We simplify again using our calculator, right? Because we have a calculator that does operation, which is 30. And we are done. Are there any questions, guys, on how we did this word problem? From reading it to getting the solution. Any questions? Does anyone need extra time to copy these work down? Everyone good? All right, moving on. So we have another thing to do in this class where we have to, I'll let you read. I'll give you a minute to write this down. There's a definition in example 6. So in this slide, we have 15 seconds left before I begin. All right, guys. So if you take a look at this slide, it says definition. A solution is a value for the variable, that makes the equation a true statement. Example 6. Determine whether 6 is a solution of this equation. So first we write the equation. 4 parentheses x minus 3 equals 12. All right, so this is no longer an expression. What changes this from an equation to an expression to an equation is this symbol here, equal sign. If the math does not have an equal sign, it is an expression like the other examples we've done. Like this is an expression. This is an expression. There's no equal sign. This is an equation because there's an equal sign. So now they're telling us if 6 is a solution of the variable of the equation. So if it's a solution, it's the number for the variable. So what's the variable in this example here? The variable is x. So if 6 is a solution, we have to plug it in for x. So it'll be 4 parentheses 6 minus 3 equals 12. But I want us to put a question mark on that equal sign, guys. That question mark tells us we do not know that the left side is equal to the right side. We don't know if this solution is gonna make the equation true or false. True or false. So let's simplify the left side. 4 times 6 minus 3, so do PEMDAS. 6 minus 3 is 3, right? So it'll be 4 times 3 equals 12. 4 times 3 is 12, which equals 12. Now, when you read this out loud, guys, 12 equals 12. Can someone tell me if that's true or false? Does 12 equal 12?
Is it true?
It is true. That is correct. Since it is a true statement, the answer I want you to write this sentence down. Since it's true, 6 is a solution to the equation. Can someone tell me what we would have written if we had said it was false? Would we write the same sentence, or what would be the key difference? Because go ahead.
It would say 6 is not a solution to the equation.
That is correct. So true statements is it is a solution. False is not a solution. Thank you, Adeline. That was perfect. Any questions so far, guys, on example 6? Any questions? Does anyone need more time on this slide before I move on? I'm really not trying, just want to make sure everyone has the information that presented. Okay, let me know when you're good to go, Nicholas, okay? What was that? I'm sorry.
Done.
Okay, thank
I'm
you.
done.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on. Example 7. Determine which numbers in the set 26, 40, 20 are solutions of the equation 2n minus 30 equals 10. We'll go ahead and give you a 1.5 minute timer to copy this question out, or 1 minute and 15 seconds. So I'll do. And I'll get started. So it's literally the same thing that we did last one, but how many numbers are we checking in this example class? We're checking three different numbers. The last example, we only checked if one number was the solution. Now we're checking 3. Because sometimes some equations have more than one solution. You heard it here first, folks. Some equations have more than one solution. Some. I'm gonna start working it out in just a moment, guys. Just letting the class copy this problem down in their notebook. Good. So thank you, Jacob. So I'm pretty sure you solved the equation, which is amazing. If you're able to solve this original equation here, that's great. But you want to be very careful reading the problem, especially when you're working on the homeworks and the test assignments. make sure you're not overdoing it, because isn't that it's gonna make it this because this question is not about solving, it's about can you check if these numbers are the solution. It's the checking part, right? The solving will come eventually, but right now this is just to show you how can you check, right? So I'm gonna divide my slide into 3 columns. So the first one we're gonna check is 26. We're gonna see is 26 a solution. So the equation is 2n minus 30 equals 10. I'm gonna replace n with 26. So it'll be 2 parentheses 26 minus 30 equals 10 with the question mark on top of the equal sign. So 2 times 26 is 52, right? Minus 30, bring down the 10. 52 minus 30, I believe, is 22. 22 does not equal 10. So we can say here 26 is not a solution. And I just drew, when you put a line through the equal sign, you're pretty much saying it from equal to does not equal. Okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and look at the second number, 40. So this is the column for 40. So it'll be 2 times 40 minus 30 equals 10 with the question mark on top of the equal sign, because we don't know, right? 2 times 40 is 80 minus 30 equals 10. 80 minus 30 is 50. 50 does not equal 10. So we know 40 is not a solution. Last one we have is 20, right? So 20 is the last number we're checking. So then we'll get 2 times 20 minus 30 equals 10. Question mark, right? 2 times 20 is 40 minus 30 equals 10. 40 minus 30 is 10 equals 10, which is true. This is false. Let me write the false. The way to write the false. True. So we know 20 is a solution. Are there any questions on what we did on this example class? Are there any questions at all? So when you're working on a homework problem in class or at home on the homework, on the test, make sure that you guys take a look at this and say, all right, what can we do here? What does that work? Do we check? Do we plug in? Do we solve? Like here it says we want to check, right? All right. Does anyone need more time to copy down this slide before I move on, guys? Anyone need more time? All right, we're almost done with this lecture. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give you about 4 minutes, guys, because this is gonna be about now we're gonna convert words to math. Words to math. So write this chart into your notebook because you are gonna have to reference this because you are gonna have to write algebra or math from words. I'm gonna give you about 4 minutes to copy this down because this chart has a lot of words on it. And I didn't give any practice problems on the checking because it's pretty self-explanatory. I feel yeah, because we did a lot of plugging in already, practice problems in the beginning, so I think we're okay on that. So right now we're focusing on this part here. All right, it's about a minute left, guys.
So every time like we see these words and one of the word problems is basically telling us what we're gonna do, right?
Yes, ma'am. It's pretty much telling you what operations are happening in the problem. That is correct. So that's why, so whenever for example, 8, we're gonna be referencing this chart. For the practice problems after this, you're gonna reference this chart. Whenever there's word problems, etc. Okay, this is when we'll be using this. Okay. So if you have like a sticky note, I would put it in that page of your notebook and write like words, keywords, and that way you can open up to your notebook on that chart right away. You don't have to look through your pages. All right, 20 more seconds before I start working at example 8, guys. So example 8 wants us to write as an algebraic expression when you use the letter X to represent the words a number. So if there's a number in the sentence, we're going to convert that into X, okay? So let's look at the letter A, for example, 8. Letter A. And if you're still writing, take a picture of this chart, take a picture of the slide, and say, all right, I'll copy this down later. Pacheco started. All right, look at A. A is 7 increased by a number. So it starts off with the word 7 increased by a number. Increased by is what operation? Addition. So it'll be plus a number. What do we write for a number? Letter X. And we're done with A. B. 15 decreased by a number. So it's 15 is being decreased by, which is subtraction, a number. C. The product of 2 and a number. So product is multiplication of what? Of 2 and a number. So it's saying us 2 times X. But remember, we already said that a number next to a letter is multiplication. So you could just write 2X. If you do not want to write 2, you could write 2, or you could write or 2 parentheses X, or you could write 2 times X. All of these mean the same thing. Remember from earlier in class? D, the quotient of a number and 5. So we know quotient is division. So whenever you see the quotient, I want you to draw a fraction. The first number is the top. This is the top. So a number is X and 5. So 5 has to go in the bottom. So I want you to remember that, okay? The first word is the top. So number is top. And 5 is the bottom. This is the same thing as X divided by, oh, that's ugly. X divided by 5. These two are the same thing. But I want us to focus on fraction ones, okay? Not this old school division, because we're in college now, so we don't need to worry about that division symbol. E is tricky, all right? E is the trickiest one of them all. So I need y'all to understand how to do E, because that's the one that I noticed last semester, the most students got the most confused. So E, so if you wrote this in your notebook, I would write a star next to E to make sure you look at this example, because it is in test and it is in homework. I'm gonna read E aloud. 2 is subtracted from a number. 2 subtracted from a number. So are we gonna write is 2 subtracted from a number? So is it gonna be 2 minus X? Or is it gonna be X minus 2? So I'm gonna put A or B. What do y'all guys think it is? A or B? Do y'all think it's 2 minus X or X minus 2 when you read the letter E? When you read this, what do y'all
Is it minus 2?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Say that one more time.
I don't know. Is it X minus 2?
So Gabby thinks it's B, X minus 2. Let me see what other people think. So Gabby thinks it's B. Let's see what other people think. Nicholas thinks it's A.
I
So
think it's A.
Yesenia thinks it's A. Now, wording is important. So I'm gonna read it from you again. 2 subtracted from a number. So, okay, let me give you a scenario. Okay, so instead of the word a number, I'm gonna write from your allowance. So pretend Papa Bear, and I'm like, all right, guys, you get a $10 allowance from me because I'm cheap. All right, you get $10. So pretend it's 2 subtracted from 10. So I'm like, all right, guys, I'm gonna so 2 is gonna be subtracted from your allowance, 2 is subtracted from 10. What will be your allowance? What did you do in your head to get your new number?
Oh, okay. So then it's 2 minus the x, right?
You sure? Well, how did you get your new allowance, Gabby? I told you you get $10 every week, but I'm saying, hey, Gabby, 2 is gonna be subtracted from your allowance. 2 is gonna be subtracted from your allowance. So how do you get the new allowance amount? If you get $10 a week.
You subtract the 2 from the 10.
2 from the 10. So the expression you would say in your head would be 10 minus 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
With me? But this E isn't saying 10. What's it saying instead of 10?
A number,
And what do we say a number is?
x.
So you were correct, Gabby. It's B, X minus 2.
Oh, okay.
There you go, Yesenia. You changed your mind too, ma'am? Good, 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 good. Does everyone see how E is X minus 2 and not 2 minus X? That is 2 subtracted from a number. Did that example with the allowance kind of help make sense of it? Or did it confuse you more?
Yeah. It explained it better to me to like understand it more.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Thank you, Gabby, for your feedback. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So everyone good with E now. Any questions on what we did on any of these? Because you're gonna do a whole practice set right now on your own. Any questions on any of these? All right, let's see how you guys do. Or let me give you a second in case anyone has questions. Hold on. All right, no questions. All right, let's see how you guys do. Now, before you start your practice problems, write this helpful hint in your notebook. And I want you to write it the way it looks. Helpful hint, and then write what's inside the box and then box it away. This helpful hint is to help you remember the difference for E. I'm gonna give you 4 minutes for the practice and helpful. So I'm gonna give you about 5 minutes total to do the problem and write the helpful hint down. 5 minutes starting now. And I'm gonna take this 5 minutes to go get water and a quick bathroom break. I'll be back. back. All right, guys. So for the chat, as you're working through, if you want to finish all practice problem and then type each one on your own, you can. Just write like first write the letter A and write whatever your answer is for A. 2 plus X. Stuff like that. Obviously, that was just like a BS answer. That's not what I think it is. It's just, you know what I mean? I don't want to give away the answer. I know what you're trying to do, but not today. All right, guys. Anyone want to share with the class what they got for letter A? Twice a number. When you're twicing a number, what are you doing to that number?
You're multiplying
By what?
by 2.
That's correct. But so remember, what do we use for the number? So how would you write the expression for twice the number?
Would it be 2 times X?
2 times X. That is correct. And how many different ways are there to write 2 times X? You can write 2X, right? What's another way to write 2X?
2 parentheses X. Parentheses.
Good. And then is there another way? There's the dot, right? 2 dot X. Yeah, correct, guys. So good, good, good. Anyone want to share what they got for B? 8 increased by a number? Or do I need to randomly call someone out, guys? Yesenia, what do you think B is? 8 increased by a number. How would you write it?
8 minus a number.
8 minus, okay. You said 8 minus. Now, remember, it's increased by. You want to look, did you write the chart down, Yesenia? Look at the chart.
Yeah.
Where it's increased by.
Oh, increase. Oh, plus. Plus a number.
Plus. And what letter do we use for a number?
X.
There you go. Good job, Yesenia. All right. Next volunteer. Timothy, how would you get C? 10 minus a number.
10 minus X.
Excellent, Timothy. Good, good, good. Gabby, can you do D for us? 10 subtracted from a number.
Would it be X minus 10? Or would it be, right?
What so what do you think, Gabby? What would you say? Is your gut telling you X minus 10 or is it telling you 10 minus X?
I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be 10 minus X.
I'm gonna read it to you again, okay? 10 subtracted from a number. So if I was your manager, I'd be, hey Gabby, we're 10 is subtracted from your paycheck, okay?
On my bad, I think it's X minus 10, right?
There you go, Gabby. Good job, man. Good job, good job. And last person to do this one, let's go with E. Adelaide, can you do E for us?
Would it be 6 divided over X?
That is correct, ma'am. Excellent, excellent. Good job, Adelaide. 6 divided by X, yeah. And how do you guys feel? Now we're officially done with 1.8. Are there any questions with the concepts we went over this lesson? Any questions at all? It could be about the notes. It could be about the practice problems. Anything at all. All right. So do y'all feel like y'all are comfortable to start a 1.8 homework online with the lesson today? Excellent, guys. Excellent, excellent. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. We have 45 minutes left of class, guys. I would like to use this to get into 2.5, okay? The next section. Let me pull it up. And here is 2.5. The cool thing about 2.5 is we've done it before already. We touched base on it with 1.7. So we're starting the next section, guys. Remember I told you last class on Wednesday that our lectures the next couple weeks are gonna be heavy until we catch up because of us being off Monday. All right, I'm gonna give you about 3 minutes to write this slide down. Wait, would you guys like a 5-minute break before we jump in? So I can go to the restroom and walk around a little bit.
Yes.
All right, let me give you a 5-minute break. We'll be back in 5 minutes, guys. See you in a bit. Resuming recording. All right, so 2.5, order of operations. So we know the steps, right? PEMDAS, parentheses, is simplify the inside of the grouping symbols. Exponents, evaluate the exponents. Multiply or divide from left to right. Add or subtract from left to right, whichever one comes first. Example, find the value of each expression. Number 1, -3 squared, that is the same thing as equal to -3 times a -3. Now, I want you to write this little box in your journal somewhere next to your notes. I want you to write that a positive times a positive will always be a positive. A negative times a positive will be negative. A positive times a negative will be negative, and a negative times a negative will be a positive. And this is for multiplying integers. I want you to write this down on your notebook for the homework. I want you to write this in your notes, and I want you to keep writing this until it's engraved in your head. The moment that you always know that a positive times a positive is positive, as long as you always know a positive times a negative is negative, if you don't need to reference, then don't write this down. If you need to reference this, then write this down every time you need to. Because after a while, I always do that. That's my tip. That's what I did when I was a student, and I stopped writing it by the time I got comfortable with it, okay? So knowing this chart that I gave you, and then we know -3 times -3, can someone give me the solution of -3 times -3?
Would it be 9?
That is correct. It'll be +9. Now, number 2 is different. Number 1, it was -3 in parentheses, right? But number 2, we're squaring +3. So it's going to be -3 times 3. Because the negative's right here, right? In front of the 3 squared. So we do 3 squared, 3 times 3. So it's like this. So 3 times 3 is in parentheses, which we know is 9, right? But what's outside of the parentheses, guys? Negative. So it's going to be a -9. Does everyone see the difference from 1 and 2? This is one of the other biggest confusions in this class that I've noticed last semester.
So if it has parentheses, like if the negative sign is in the parentheses, then that's how you're gonna do it. But then if it's not, it's gonna be a positive.
So that's correct. So if you're looking, so if there's a negative in the parentheses, then you write the negative inside the parentheses when you multiply, like this, and 2 negatives become positive. Now the negative, it's outside, there's no parentheses and it's there, then this is pretty much in parentheses, but the negative will tack onto it at the end.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now look at number 3. Number 3 is 2 times 5 squared, right? Well, PEMDAS, we do exponents first, right? Can someone tell me what 5 squared is? What 5 times 5 is? 5 times 5 is 25. So now what's 2 times 25? I believe it's 50, and we are done. What questions do we have off of this first example? Does anyone need time to write down the steps we just did? Last call before I move on. All right, moving on. So go ahead and write this helpful hint, guys. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes on this helpful hint. 2 minutes. So the timer's almost up. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this helpful hint. Helpful hint. Excuse me. When simplifying expressions with the exponents, remember that parentheses make an important difference. Parentheses -3 parentheses squared and -3 squared do not mean the same thing. But parentheses -3 squared means -3 times -3 equals 9. Whereas -3 squared means the opposite of 3 times 3, which is just -9. So only with parentheses around it, it is the -3 squared. Pretty much what me and Gabby were talking about earlier during the last slide. So that's what this helpful hint is for, is to clarify that confusion. The timer is almost up. Would anyone need additional time to write this helpful hint on top of the 2 minutes? Please
Can you
type.
do 1 more minute?
Yes, I will add 1 more minute. Thank you for letting me know. 1 more minute starting now. And like I said, the lectures are only going to be heavy in the beginning until we catch up, guys. Don't sweat it. It'll be okay. And this is my first semester having an embedded tutor, so that's kind of exciting too. So we have a whole team of resources, guys, to be successful. All right. Was that 1 minute enough, Gabby?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Anyone else, guys? Was everyone good for that extra minute? All right, I'm going to move on. So go ahead and try these practice problems. See if you remember the helpful hint, guys. I'm gonna give you about 2 minutes on these practice problems. All right. Anyone want to share what they got for number one? We have a minute left on the timer, but if y'all want to share already, you have figured these out already. And remember, exponent is just repeated what? What operation? Repeated addition for exponents. It's repeated multiplication, repeated. So we have our first guess. Our Jacob is saying number one is 16, and that is a positive 16. Does anyone agree or disagree with Jacob's first answer?
Agree.
Agree. We have an agree. Excellent. Other students, guys, chime in, please. Excellent, Noel. So if you're evaluating number one, good. Everyone's agreeing on positive 16. So far, so good, guys. So number one is just what number is going to be repeated in the parentheses, guys? What number is going to be inside 4 times?
2.
What kind of 2, Gabby?
-2.
There you go. And then you just multiply it out and you should get positive 16. Can someone tell me what they got for number 2?
I got -16.
Okay, Gabby got a negative 16. Does anyone want to agree or disagree with Gabby's answer? Let's see how the class feels. Excellent. Good job, class. If you guess, or not guess, but got negative 16, you're correct. Now, number 3. Number 3 is 3 times 6 squared. Jacob is saying 108. Anyone agree or disagree with Jacob? Because you're pretty much doing 3 times 36.
I got 108 too.
Excellent. If we got 108, guys, you are good so far. Good job, good job. Anyone have any questions on these practice problems before we move on, guys? Any questions? All right, there's none. Let's go ahead and move on. Example. Now this one has 4 different expressions. So go ahead and I'm gonna give you about 2 minutes to set up A and B. And then we'll do those 2 first, and then we'll do C, D, and then we'll do those, okay? So I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to set it up. And we're following PEMDAS. Don't forget, I'm gonna write PEMDAS to the side. P, E, multiply and divide from left to right, add and subtract from left to right. Now, remember, we've done examples like A and B in the past, order of operation on 1.7 with the fraction, right? When we're doing PEMDAS on the fraction, we have to do the top by itself and then the bottom by itself, and then divide the top and bottom at the end. Remember that? So just keep that in mind as we get started, okay? Timer's about to come up. Now, the first 2 are pretty simple because there's not that many steps to do, but it does include negative numbers now, which is why I have that little chart in the other side about positive times a positive is positive, a negative times a negative is positive, a positive times a negative is negative. Jacob already finished A. Good job, Jacob. So let's see how we do. So the timer is about to go off, and we're going to stop it right now. All right, so the top. So to simplify the top in A, we're going to multiply, right? A -6 times a positive. Now, as an example, so I'm going to work this one out. But on practice problem, that's all on you. So -6 times 2, that's a -12 on top. over -3. Now, you know, we're doing -12 divided by -3. Well, when we multiply two negatives as a positive, it's the same thing as division. When we divide two negative, it becomes positive. Two negatives make a positive. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. And we're done. Now let's look at B. B is, we're going to simplify the top first. 12 minus 16. 12 minus 16. So I like to use money as adding, subtracting. So 12 minus 16. 12 is you have $12 in your bank account. Minus 16, you spend 16 at the mall because you just found this top that you need to have. Even though your account's going to become what when you spend more than what you have?
Negative.
Negative. 12 take away 16 is -4. Now, if you put that into your calculator, you get the same thing, right? And then on the bottom, -1 plus 3. So -1, do you have $1 in your account or do you owe the bank $1 if it's -1?
You owe them that
Yeah,
negative
you
one.
owe them that $1. But how much did you deposit right now? And why is it depositing? Why are we depositing money? Because what operation is that?
Because you're adding it to it.
Yeah, we're adding money into your account. When you add money, you plus it. So if you owe the bank $1 and you give them 3, how much do you have for you? 2. So it'll be +2 in the bottom. So -4 divided by 2, it's a negative and positive, right? Negative positive is a -2 as your answer. And we're done. Any questions on A and B so far, guys? Any questions? All right, let's look at C now. C is, I'm gonna go ahead and give you 1 minute to copy C down and D. So C, I know we have a minute to copy this down, but follow PEMDAS. There's no parentheses to simplify. So we're done with P. E, exponent, you have -2 to the third power. While we're waiting for the time, can anyone tell me what -2 cube is? It's gonna be -2 times -2 times -2, right? But what does that simplify to?
+6.
Ah, you're doing 2 times 3 added line, but we're not doing 2 times 3. We're doing -2 times a -2 times another -2. Remember
I
that?
can both.
So 2 negatives make a what? So what's -2 times -2?
4.
Yeah, it's a 4, right? But we still have to multiply one more what? One more -2, right? So what's 4 times -2?
-8.
There you go. So I'm gonna bring down everything now. So I know that -2 cubed is -8. So I'm gonna bring down the 60 plus 30 plus parentheses -8. All right, class. Whenever we have a plus a negative, that is the same thing as just a minus. So it'll be 60 plus 30 minus 8. I need you to understand when we have a plus a negative number, we're not plusing a negative number. We're just subtracting. I just need you to bridge that real quickly in your notes and in your mind. Now we're done with exponents. There's no multiplication division. So we're going to add and subtract from left to right. So 60 plus 30 is what? It's 90. Then we do 90 minus 8. which is 82. And we're done. Now that helpful hint is gonna help you with these expressions. Whenever you get the -2 cube, or well, not the good color. Whenever we do negative, like 2 cube, that's one of the helpful hints. That's one of the helpful hints. Use the helpful hint that I've given you to help you simplify those exponents, okay? Look at D. All right. So parentheses, there's no parentheses for D. Exponents. How many different exponents do we see in example D, class? How many exponents do we see?
3.
3. So let's do the first one first. -4 squared. There's no parentheses around the -4. So what's gonna be -4 squared? What kind of 16 is that? That's 4 times 4, right? Am I gonna have a positive 16 or a negative 16 for the first one? Looking at your other note, your helpful hint.
You're gonna have a negative.
Yeah, a -16. What about -3 squared with parentheses?
A positive 9.
A positive 9. And then we bring down the minus, right? What's 1 cube? 1 cube is 1 times 1 times 1, which is just what? When you multiply 3 ones, what do we get? You can type it in your calculator if you need to. 1 times 1 times 1. It's 1. So now we add and subtract from left to right. So -16. We owe the bank $16. But how much did we deposit? How much money did we get? 9. So if you owe the bank 16 and all you can give them was 9, what are you gonna owe the bank now after they take your $9?
You're gonna owe them $7.
Yeah, -7. Bring down -1. Ah, but we spent another $1 because the ice cream truck was selling hot Cheetos for $1. So if we owe them 7 and we spend another $1 at the ice cream truck, how much do we owe the bank now? What's our final answer?
Is it -8?
-8, and we're done. Good job, Gabby. Thank you for your participation. Anyone have any questions so far on these examples?
Wait, how did you get -7?
Because we did -16 plus positive 9. So -16, we owe the bank $16. But we're gonna add $9 into our account to help pay off our balance. So we went from owing them 60 to only owing them how much? 7.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Any question? Because you're about to do some practice problems, guys. Any questions? All right, let's see how you guys do. Here are 4 practice problems. And we'll probably stop here after these practice problems. Okay, guys? So once we finish going over these answers, we'll stop here. And we'll continue this lesson on Wednesday. Let me see how many more slides we have. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, we'll stop here. I'm gonna give y'all 5 minutes on practice problems. Because class ends at 12:06. Remember to use the positive times a positive is positive, negative times a negative is positive, positive times a negative is negative, and negative times a positive is negative. This works the same way for multiplying and division. So it'll be for times and division. It's for both. So yeah, you're trying to get 4 different answers right now, guys. That's your goal. Adela is sharing us a different technique, how she uses for the symbol, the triangle method, where it's just positive on top to negatives on the bottom. So let me see. So you do this, right? Triangle, and it's a positive, negative, negative. And how does this
Yeah.
work? How does it work, Adela? How do you, I've never done
Um.
this.
So like using the last problem that we just did, the negative. Oh, where was I? Oh yeah. Okay. So say you have like negative 16 plus 9, which was like the last one. So you would cover the positive or like scratch them out, and then another negative and whatever there's a negative left. So your answer would be that.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Adela, for sharing.
I was taught it in like 5th grade, and it seemed easier
And it
than
stuck
'cause
with
I
you all
know.
these years, right? So that's good.
Yeah, because looking at the one you made, it got me confused. So I was like, let me see if it works the same with the triangle.
Okay. My apologies. I'm glad that you had another technique though.
Yeah, I remember learning that. I think they call it like the Dorito method or something. That's what they called it in my school.
I'm gonna look it up, Gabby. Thank you. Dorito method. Thank you. I'm always about learning different techniques, guys. Because I've only taught high school and college. Yeah, Jacob. If you finish, it's just a practice problem. So if you got the answers, go ahead and put them in the chat. Right, number 1, I got this, and then number 2, I got this, and then let's see if people agree or disagree. So Jacob said what he got for number 1. So if y'all want to say agree for number 1, because there's 4 different problems. So don't just say agree or disagree, right? Agree for whatever number it is, because he finished the first 2. Good, good, good. Good. So it seems Jacob and Gabby are confirming each other, but everyone else add on to it. See if y'all agree with them too or disagree, so we can help each other out. All right, guys, we have about 4 minutes left of class. Let's see how y'all do for 3 and 4, okay? So Jacob's working on 3. Nicholas, were you agreeing with Jacob's number 3 or his other answers?
So for number 3, since
Yeah,
if 4 is in the parentheses, it's gonna be -4, -4, -4, all in parentheses, right?
that's correct. And then you're gonna multiply them across, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. I'm putting question marks because I haven't seen what people are putting. I don't want to say yes or no right away. We're on the last one, number 4. All right, so we have all 4 potential answers from students in the chat. Would anyone like me to work out any specific of these? It could be one of them or all of them. Yesenia got -23 for number what? Number 4. 23 for. So for sure, I'm gonna have to work out number 4 because we have different answers. Would anyone need me to work out numbers 1, 2, or 3, guys? You can put in the chat if you need me to work out any numbers 1, 2, or 3. Okay, I'll do number 2. Okay. All right, I'm not gonna do number 1 because no one requested number 1. So I'm gonna start with number 2. Now we're gonna do the top and the bottom, guys, to see what we get. So for the top is -18 plus 6. -18 plus 6. So you owe the bank $18, but you only can put 6 in your account. So if you owe 18 and you put in 6, you're still gonna owe the bank $12. Now the bottom of the fraction is -3 minus 1. You owe the bank $3 already, but you needed to spend $1 at the store. So -3 minus 1. So we owe them 3, but we spend another $1. So that's 4. We owe them -4. So that's going to be 2 negatives equals a +3. So that's number 2. Classes up already. So I'm going to go ahead and do number 4 quickly. So I'm going to erase these answers. So -2 cubed, guys. -2 to the third is just 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8, but it's negative. So it'll be -8. This one here plus -4 squared is -4 times -4. We know 2 negatives makes a positive, which is 16. And then the last one is 1 to the 5th power. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is just 1. So now we have to add and subtract from left to right. -8, we owe the bank $8, but we deposited 16. So once we put in the 16, they take away the 8 that we owe them. We only have 8 left for us. So we bring down the +1. And then 8 plus 1 ends with what? 9. And we are done. All right, guys, I'm not gonna keep you much longer because class time ends at 12:06. But are there any questions real quick on 1 and 3 before I go on? So Jacob, we actually already finished the second class, sir. The second class starts from 11:41 until 12:06.
Sir, I mentioned at the beginning of the class if you could help me with the registration thing where the homework's
Yeah, of
located
course.
at.
Yeah. If you guys want to show me, if you want to stay online to get help with how to register for my lab, yeah, please stay online. But if you have no questions for me regarding my now before I dismiss, let me go ahead and stop recording.